We're delighted to have as our commencement speaker today, Mr. Willie Geist, host of NBC's Way Too Early with Willie Geist and co-host of Morning Joe. When I saw Willie this afternoon, I mentioned that I was walking down the hall 2 weeks ago, and one of our students came up, and our students, of course, are all scholars and up early in the morning and studying, so they hear the 5:30 Willie Geist show. But the student said to me, you know, I heard him. He's smart, and he's also funny. So we're really looking forward to his address. He appears frequently on the Today Show, other NBC shows, and has a new book out, American Freak Show. As he writes in his MSNBC bio, he gave up a promising postgraduate career in liquor delivery to enter journalism. I'm very pleased to present Mr. Willie Geist.
More on the liquor delivery in a moment. Thank you so much, President Satkamp, for that generous introduction and for the invitation to share with all of you this special day. We should also give special commendation to Flavor Flav for loaning him that medallion. Isn't that something? That thing is hot. Thank you also to the Provost, Executive Vice President of Stockton College, Dr. Harvey Kesselman, to the members of the Board of Trustees, to the distinguished faculties and member of the Platform Party. You all must be extraordinarily proud of this record 1,800 students graduating from Stockton today. It's a great day. And congratulations to all of you students. I want to commend you on selecting an academic discipline that falls under the afternoon commencement ceremony. Allowed you to sleep in while those suckers in arts and humanities woke up at dawn. You're off to a good start. Very smart. We should begin our celebration of the students right at the top of the class, although most of us here would not recognize that unusually large number that appears next to the letters GPA on her transcript. Let's recognize one more time your valedictorian, Ms. Trisha Sharma. Congratulations. I don't want to steal any thunder from you, Trisha, but I am a valedictorian myself. This is a true story. Class of 1993 at the prestigious Metropolitan Bartending School. Maybe you've heard of it? Nyack, New York. I'm sure you've heard of it. I was actually the valedictorian of the class of the week of March 7th, 1993, because it was a one-week course, but that does not diminish the achievement. I was my senior year in high school. Sports were over. I was already in college, so I did what any right-thinking 17-year-old would do, sign up for an out-of-state bartending class, and that's what I did. I was told, actually, at the end of my course by my professor of mixology, that's an actual thing, he said this without a hint of irony, that if I had worked a little harder on my citrus garnishing, I could have been one of the great ones. Just imagine what I would have become if I just worked on that lemon zesting a little harder than I did. So welcome to the club, Tricia. It is really wonderful to be here with all of you today at Stockton College in the shadow of Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's the place God put right along the shore so that one day he could conveniently jettison the whole thing right out to sea. Just clear it out. It's the cities whose troubles have been paved over in gleaming 24-karat gold by the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. It's the tourist destination. Really? All right, maybe. It's the tourist destination whose Chamber of Commerce slogan is, "What happens in AC stays in AC," mostly because no one would admit in public to having spent a weekend there. I kid. I'm from New Jersey. We're the only ones who are allowed to say these things about New Jersey. I come from Ridgewood, which is up in the north in Bergen County. All right, Ridgewood, sure. And like so many of you, I've spent my life fighting those dumb stereotypes and cheap shots at our great state. I went to college in Nashville, Tennessee. When I first arrived on campus, they treated me like I was a foreign exchange student. They wanted to hear me speak in the native Joyzy tongue. They asked me about the customs of my indigenous peoples as though we were some lost tribe from the Amazon. And of course, they wanted to know with which crime syndicate I was affiliated. Genovese, for the record. Let's be honest, we New Jerseyans are not getting a lot of help from our friends in the world of popular culture. A little piece of my soul turns to ash every time I watch a liquored-up Snooki faceplant at the beach and at Seaside while 8 million Americans watch. Not even from New Jersey, but we get the rap. I shudder when Teresa of the Real Housewives of New Jersey expresses her displeasure by flipping over a restaurant table on national television. And I draw the blinds in my home each time I watch the New Jersey Nets. Thank God we still have Springsteen, Bon Jovi, and the Cake Boss. Let's celebrate that. Come on. We're going to be okay. I was sitting 14 years ago, almost to the day, right where you students are sitting. And if there's one thing I remember thinking on that special day, it's, when the hell is this guy going to shut up? Who is he? I want my diploma. So I promise I will be brief. I do want to talk briefly about something I was feeling that day 14 years ago, and I'm guessing a lot of you are feeling right now, and that's a little hint maybe of anxiety. You've been going to school since you were 3 or 4 years old. It's defined you. It's what you did every day. You woke up, you went to school, you came home, you did your homework, or in my case, you ate Cool Ranch Doritos, played Nintendo for 6 hours, and paid a smart kid to do your homework. Works either way. School's where you figured out what interests you, what doesn't interest you. It's where you met your friends. It's where you learned how to talk to people, how to interact with human beings. It's where you sorted out what kind of person you were going to become. Might be where you fell in love with somebody. It's where you practiced and trained to become an actual human being. And now, in just a few minutes, the practice for you will be over. Your families and teachers who are gathered here today have done their part, and now it's your move. What's your life going to look like? Who are you going to be? Where will you live? Who among the 7 billion strangers living outside those doors will be your new friends, your new rivals, your business partner, your husband, your wife? What role will you play in the daily global struggle for the future of this country? American greatness is not willed from generation to generation. You are the ones, like your parents and their parents before them, who will have the giant collective responsibility to keep the flame. How will you do it? How will you leave your mark? Well, the long road to those answers starts right now, and it's a pretty heavy thought if you stop to think about it. It might even be a little bit scary. But if you look at it as something kind of exciting, you're being given a pen to write your own life story. That's what that diploma is. Some of you will take the anxiety head on. Good for you. Others will dance around it and do something like what I did immediately after graduation. I took the gift of that college diploma, put it safely in the compartment of the liquor delivery truck I'd signed up to drive. I graduated from Vanderbilt University, a 4-year undertaking that came at no small expense to my parents. I came back to Ridgewood, New Jersey, told my mom and dad I was just going to take a job for the summer while I considered my life plan, of which there was not one. I was a political science major with a minor in French. I was stunned to learn that there's not a big market for or such a thing as a political scientist, to say nothing of a French-speaking political scientist. So I took a job at Wine and Spirit World in Hohokus, New Jersey, a couple weeks after I walked across the stage in a cap and gown. They gave me, based, I assume, on my impressive academic resume, the position of head delivery guy. So the job entailed bringing beer, wine, booze all around Bergen County in a two-tone brown, kind of beat-up windowless van that hadn't seen the inside of a Jiffy Lube since Dance Party USA was on the air. A little young for that reference, I understand. Some of my friends of my parents, to whom I was delivering a bunch of liquor for a party one summer evening, were particularly impressed when I barreled into their driveway in the van and promptly crawled out of the vehicle through the passenger side window. That's right, the doors did not open. And all the people said, there goes that Willie Geist and his Vanderbilt degree. In the meantime, I was doing everything I could to get a writing job in New York. I spent weeks that summer putting together a packet of original material for Conan O'Brien, whose eyes surely, I thought, would be open to my prodigious talents. I felt destined. I just knew it was going to happen. I can even tell you what mailbox I stuck that package in. It was right outside the liquor store, and I stopped and had a moment. I thought, I'll always remember this. This will go down in the history of me. This is where I started, and I got that job at Conan O'Brien. Well, I waited about a month. The reply finally came. My big time had arrived. The ticket was there. I opened the envelope with a return address that I thought was so cool. Late Night with Conan O'Brien, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. I slid out the letter, trying to remember every second for my memoirs. The response, as it turned out, was quite brief, and not a handwritten note of adulation from Conan as I had imagined. It read in generic form letter print as follows. Dear Sir, Late Night with Conan O'Brien does not accept unsolicited writing material. In compliance with NBC legal policy, no member of the Late Night staff has read the documents that accompanied your letter, nor was any portion used on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Thank you. Well, that letter might as well have said, just get back in the van, liquor boy. So I did. I got back in the van, but by the time Thanksgiving rolled around, my parents started looking for a little ROI on that money they'd poured into Vanderbilt. So I reluctantly handed the keys to the van back to the owner at Wine and Spirit World, nipping my liquor delivery career in the bud just as it was about to blossom. I still believe, by the way, surrendering the 25% employee discount was a huge mistake. That could have come in handy. From there, I moved to Atlanta, where a bunch of my college friends had set up shop. I took a job at CNN, working as a late-night tape editor for the company's 24-hour sports network. Just like that, my career in TV began. It was there at CNN that I learned to love TV, and at Atlanta that I made some of the best friends of my life. I didn't see either TV or Atlanta in my future when I was sitting where you're sitting right now. So I share all this because I think it's important to know at this anxious moment that there's no need for panic. You may have no idea what you're doing with your life at about 4 o'clock this afternoon when the rest of your life starts. You may have the sinking feeling as some of your friends leap headfirst into their careers that you have no plan and that you're certain to end up jobless and living under the overpass at exit 44 under the Parkway. I'm here to tell you not to worry, because they're really doing some nice things with overpasses with all that stimulus money. Stimulus has been very kind to overpasses. You could do a lot worse. Or you may actually think you got a pretty good idea what you're going to do. You've got it figured out. Either way, you should know that the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years even, they're not necessarily determinative of who you are going to be when you grow up. They might be. You might start work on Monday at a bank and end up being the president in 20 years, and I hope that's true. But remember, these first steps of your post-college life are retraceable. You get a few do-overs. I guarantee you that you will have at least one job, probably pretty soon, that will become nothing more than the source material for a great toast at your wedding rehearsal dinner. One of my best friends from college proudly took his geology degree, worked for a full year at sea on an oil company's survey rig. He learned only after he was on board that the ship was staffed entirely by Russians who did not speak English. He did not speak Russian. So he sat quietly for 12 months in the galley reading Danielle Steele books. I know it sounds strange, but I hope for a job like that for you. I hope for your brief liquor delivery career. These are the steps along the Garden State Parkway of life that make the ride worth taking. One of Mark Twain's most famous quotes, and I think it's good for this occasion, he said, quote, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. So do what Twain says. Go take some chances. Have some fun. Write your story. And if you ever need help getting into bartending school, do call me. I was the valedictorian. Thank you all so much, and congratulations to the class of 2011. Thank you.
Ms. Byrne, it's my distinct pleasure to grant the special acknowledgement to Willie Geist for his leadership and public service. The award reads, the Board of Trustees and President Sotkamp present the Richard Stockton College of New Jersey Distinguished Service Award to Mr. Willie Geist, host of MSNBC's Way Too Early with Willie Geist, co-host of MSNBC's Morning Joe, NBC News contributor, and New York Times bestselling author of the book American Freak Show. In recognition of Mr. Geist's exemplary leadership, work in public service, outstanding contributions to the community, state of New Jersey, and to the United States.